under her torso and flipped her onto her side. I later learned this was the recovery position, though I have no idea how Duke knew to do it. Then he began barking in sharp, measured bursts, 3 barks, a pause, then 3 more, a pattern that carried down the quiet street like an alarm. It was those barks that saved her life. A neighbor 3 houses down heard the unusual sound and called 911. The EMTs told me later that Duke's actions had kept her stable until they arrived. "That dog's a hero," one of them said, scratching behind Duke's ears as they loaded Mrs. Whitmore into the ambulance. "If he hadn't gotten her on her side and kept her warm—" He didn't need to finish the sentence. At the hospital, Mrs. Whitmore clung to my hand with surprising strength. Her first words weren't an apology or even thanks. They were a confession. "I've been having dizzy spells for months," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. The doctors confirmed she'd suffered a severe heat stroke exacerbated by an undiagnosed heart condition. "Didn't want to tell anyone," she murmured, avoiding my eyes. "Didn't want to seem weak." A week later, I answered the door to find Mrs. Whitmore standing on my porch, her posture uncharacteristically hesitant. In her hands were a Tupperware container of homemade dog biscuits and a folded piece of stationery. The note read, "I judged Duke by his breed, not his heart. Can you ever forgive me?" Her handwriting, usually so precise, shook slightly on the page. Now, 6 months later, Duke wears a hero dog medal from the fire department on his collar. Mrs. Whitmore brings him homemade treats every Sunday and keeps a special jar of his favorite peanut butter cookies on her counter. Just last week, I overheard her scolding a delivery driver who crossed the street to avoid us. "Don't be ridiculous," she huffed, pulling Duke closer to her side. "This is the gentlest soul on the block." Duke still barks at squirrels. Mrs. Whitmore still yells from her porch, but now it's words of encouragement rather than condemnation. Sometimes, when I see them together, her frail hand buried in his brindle fur, his tail wagging so hard his whole body shakes, I think about how close she came to never getting this second chance. How close we all came to missing the truth about each other. Life has a funny way of teaching us lessons when we least expect them. That day in the backyard, Duke didn't just save Mrs. Whitmore's life, he saved her from her own prejudice, and in return she gave him what he'd always deserved, the benefit of the doubt.